Right, so now I'll invite Abhishek to share his views, and after that we'll continue, come back to the felicitation.
Thank you, Raju. Good afternoon, everybody. So, this is the worst time of the day when you are the speaker and you are between the lunch, right? So, I'll try and keep it as short as possible, but because it's been a lengthy session for you all, and it's good to be back into the classroom at times, right? So, for principals and the directors, such conclaves are more like classrooms. So, it's good to be back into the classroom, and that reminded me of a joke, so I'll share that with you. So, there was this boy called Tommy, and Tommy was sleeping. And a winter morning, and Mama comes and says, Tommy, come on, get up, you got to go to school. Mama, I really do not want to. It's such a winter morning. I don't want to go to school. Tommy, come on, get up, you got to go to school. Mama, I really do not want to. Tommy, about time. Get up, bus is right out there, you got to go to school. Mama, give me one good reason why do I go to school. There are about 100 teachers who hate me. There are about 1,000 students who do not like me. Give me one good reason why do I go to school. And Mommy said, son, I'll give you two. Number one, you're 45 years old, and number two, you're the principal of the school. So I understand when sir said that, everybody is there to hate you, and you are in that typical spot. Now, honestly, I was prepared with a very different deck. But then what happened while I was listening out there, and there was a panel discussion which ma'am led, and there was another panel discussion which talked about technology and where do we see education evolving in next 40-50 years. So I thought that let me just change around my presentation and bring it to you some research which I worked with some of the international organizations recently for the BRICS economy. So these are the emerging countries: Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. And we conducted research over 30,000 students, and we came up with astonishing data. But I'm not here to bore you with the data. You've already seen a lot of data. I'm a very big optimist. I don't see that situation is that bad, because if I look at my son, he's in grade 6. He is level 4 Trinity drummer. He's level 4 Trinity guitarist. He's already done HTML, CSS, and Python, and he's now working on his own app, solving a real-life problem of Delhi NCR. Now, I'm not sure whether this app will become successful or not. That time will tell. But he is also the product of the same education system. So, situation is not that bad, right? Situation is quite positive. Our children are far more aware about pollution. My son doesn't burn crackers. I used to. My son doesn't throw garbage on the ground. I used to. So thank you all out there, because it's you who is teaching them that go back home and tell your parents not to buy crackers. So situation in our education system is not that bad as we actually project out to be. It's pretty evolving, and it's pretty nice. All right, so I'm a venture capitalist as well. So I'm invested in almost 10 edtech startups. And the fortunate part is that I'm not here to promote any of them. Right, so nowhere in the session you will hear any brand. I might just take a couple of names here or there, the kind of concept we are working on, but I'm not here to promote. I'm here to share my experiences as a speaker in almost 10 countries, conducting over 400 workshops and teachers training programs. When I go back to Silicon Valley, California, and I discuss with my friends out there, because I'm a UCLA pass out, so I have loads of friends in Silicon Valley. And we discuss this pretty often, that possibly you and me are witnessing a transformational change. Okay, so we are that pivot which is witnessing and which is fortunate to witness that astonishing change, which possibly, another 200 years will not see, or another 300 years will not see. The first astonishing change happened when our frontal cortex was developed as a human. Right? When we started developing the sense of talking, when we started developing the sense of interacting or relationships, this happened about 2 billion years ago. Now, the next revolution is happening now when what you call as artificial intelligence or machine intelligence is taking leaps and bounds jump over human intelligence, right? So we are in that pivotal stage. Now, if you actually go back to the previous, because I changed my entire deck, if you go back to the previous panel discussion where they were talking about technology, I think we were missing a point there, and the point was, technology is a byproduct. It's a tool. Google is an algorithm, right? It depends on how you use Google. So, what you feed in Google is what comes out. If you feed in that I've been coughing from last 2 months, the first thing Google will tell you is that you might have TB or cancer, and it will scare the hell out of you, right? And if you feed in that I have been coughing from last 2 months and sneezing, the Google will say you might have a severe flu, get an influenza shot. So it's an algorithm. What you feed in is what comes out. So tools are supposed to be used. So these technology is a byproduct. We need to understand where is the world heading. Let's see. So this was 1958, and that is 2 transistors on a processor. This is 1971, about 2300 transistors on one processor. And this is today 14.4 billion transistors on a processor. So imagine the power of technology, the speed at which things are happening, right? It's about, what, 300 million times since 1958? Look at this. If I had to transport a hard drive in 1958, I needed a private jet. Okay? And the data it could store was what, 5 MB. This is 2005, 128 MB. And this is 2017, 128 GB in less than $1,000. This is where we are headed. So the memory and the speed is doubling, and the price is becoming half. Now, why do I say that we are in a transformational age? What matters now is how will we actually go ahead and raise our children? How we will interact with one another? How we will do business, employment, commerce, entertainment, even teaching? How will we treat? When it comes to medicine, till date, we have an approach which is called fit for all approach. So there is an antibiotic, whatever body size you have, whatever metabolism you have. If you have a flu, everybody gets treated with azithromycin, right? It's fit for all approach, right? We are going towards customization very soon. The genetics, the DNA will take us towards customization of medicine. So there will be a medicine made real time for your body type. Real time, and this is happening. This is not future. So when you talk about future, there's a book of mine which is getting published by Times Publishing House, the Times of India Group, and I have titled that book called Ready for the Future of Tomorrow. So it's an oxymoron, right? Future is either which is tomorrow, and then I'm saying that there is a future for tomorrow. Because some of the things that we are talking about, artificial intelligence and machine learning and robotics and data science and blah 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 blah, these are all happening. It's not future anymore, right? You talk about robotics. There is a robot called Radha, which is developed by Vistara, and I'm fortunate that one of my students is already working as an intern in Radha.